The general subject matter deals with the causes and effects of cyberbullying on young adults and students, as well as their responses to this cruel behavior. This article also goes into much detail over the psychosocial impacts on students in the long run. The author of this paper presents a strong goal of providing administrators and leaders a better understanding of this issue and certain steps that should be taken to deal with this phenomenon. The underlying causes, categories of psychological effects, and specific remedies of this issue is outlined throughout the article as well.
They collected data from 351 students using a survey method. That contains limited choice, skilled responses, and open-ended questions. The design of the quantitative and qualitative experiment provides a wide range of responses from a mass population explaining all the different experiences from cyberbullying.
The cyberbullying emerges from relationship problems due to the envy, jealousy, and breakups and the ganging up. These victims experience negative fallouts due to the harsh effects of cyberbullying. This includes suicide, depression, and self-harm. My conclusions from this experiment are that cyberbullying is getting worse as the years progress due to the increase in innovations and the easy access to personal information, putting young adolescents at risk. The article indicated for some schools to implement educational policies and practice to counterbalance the attacks of cyberbullying, including steps that schools and school leaders can take to prevent this harmful phenomenon.
The news story that I chose explains how a teenage boy, Channing Smith, committed suicide after explicit texts between him and a classmate were leaked out to the rest of his high school peers. The author, Emily Rueb, describes how the result of Channing Smith's death was due to social media bullying. Channing Smith was only a 16-year-old junior at Coffee County Central High School in Manchester, Tennessee, and took his life on September 23, 2020. The article goes into depth of how Channing Smith was absolutely humiliated, and there was no way he could have gone to school afterward, according to his brother Joshua Smith. The journal article we chose states the psychological impacts of cyberbullying on students, and also the responses of students due to cyberbullying. The article conducts a survey of 351 students and reveals that cyberbullying emerges most commonly from relationship problems. This relates to the article I chose, as the explicit texts that were released were related to a relationship between the two boys involved. Teenagers respond to stress differently than adults and are more likely to develop stress-related mental disorders such as anxiety and depression due to the lack of brain development at that time. This is a possible cause or reason of Channing Smith's decision to take his life.
Mallory Grossman, age 12, committed suicide on June 14, 2017, according to a local news report by Kay Rosenbaum in Rockaway, New Jersey. Mallory was a victim of cyberbullying. Her classmates harassed and tormented the young girl on social media platforms such as Instagram and Snapchat, as well as sent her texts through iMessage. The following messages were sent to Mallory throughout a 9-month duration. You are a loser, you have no friends, and why don't you go kill yourself? At the age of 12, you are discovering yourself and figuring out your role and identity amongst friends and family. Having such an unfavorable psychosocial development played a major role in Mallory ending her life. The article Cyberbullying by Diane Hoff and Sydney Mitchell points out the ignorance amongst schools and school officials and they're resulting in teen suicides, and this is evident with Mallory Grossman. In her case, the schools did little to nothing to help give her a safe place. Diane Grossman, the mother of Mallory, stated that the schools failed to stop the harassment towards her daughter. Mallory even tried approaching one of the alleged bully's parents. Her pleas were instantly dismissed. Mallory's story proves what Hoff and Mitchell are trying to enact, that schools should implement educational policies and practice to counterbalance the attacks of cyberbullying.
On December 1st, 2016, Brandy Vela committed suicide in front of her entire family due to excessive cyberbullying, according to a CNN News article reported by Karma Hassan. Brandy Vela was 18 years old and attended Texas City High School, where she experienced cyberbullying due to her apparent weight. The cyberbullying of Brandy went on for months, with her receiving multiple messages through Facebook that would say foul comments like, "Why are you still here?" and "You're so fat and ugly," according to her older sister, Jackie. The bullying was so extensive to the point where her peers would make fake Facebook accounts just to continue the bullying. Brandy was still in the stages of psychological development, where an individual seeks the social acceptance of others and worries about their self-image and appearance, as it is more prominent throughout the teenage years. This bullying could have a serious trauma on the brain during these stages, leading to deep depression, low self-esteem, and ultimately suicide. According to the journal article Cyberbullying by Diane Hoff and Sydney Mitchell, schools and local authorities mostly ignore the early signs and reports of cyberbullying and usually do not act accordingly to prevent any further damage. Such is the case with Brandy Vela, where she alerted the local authorities about the cyberbullying, but they proceeded to ignore the case and deny Brandy the help she needed. Unfortunately, the bullying got to Brandy and she ultimately killed herself when her family went to go check up on her in her room. Sadly, the authorities nor the school did anything to help stop the cyberbullying and prevent the tragedy that was to come.